Hi everybody, Moy here from Triana Farms. So we have family coming over and we're gonna be smoking some ribs. So I just want to bring you into the process a little bit of how I go about doing this. One of the things I try to do is square it up and make sure that there aren't any little edges that are gonna cook quicker than the rest of it and then have a different flavor or even flavor the rest of the meat because it starts smoking. So in this little area right here, what I try to do is get this cleaned up so that it doesn't cook quicker, and then, like I said, flavor the meat in a way that isn't very tasteful. The other thing I do is this helps quite a bit to have a little towel here for you to grip this skin right here. So what I do is I grab this with a towel, paper towel. Talk a little bit more about this, I guess, while I'm going. And what I do is I remove this because you want the smoke to penetrate from both sides, and this could be a hindrance for that smoke. There's been some videos that have been done as far as like how much difference there is, and for most people they say there's really little difference. Personally, I don't like biting into a rib and having to get that skin out of there, so I try to remove it just for the sake of if it's going to affect the smoke, but also if it's going to be in the food that I'm serving people. Okay, so there's a bone here on the end. I'm going to go ahead, a rib here on the end. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off to square it up, and that there's not a bone right on the end of it. By the way, this right here I saved, and then I use it in different ways. It's good meat, and I use it in different ways so that we could use it like in a stir fry or something like that, but I save these. It's good meat. So here's the width of this. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this up like about right here and get it as close as I can to square. It's not gonna be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection, but just more of an even look so that it cooks evenly. Again, you want it to cook evenly. On the end over here, we have a lot of just meat without a lot of bone, so anyway, without a lot of ribs. So this last one I also cut out, and it gives me this pretty uniform size. Again, it's maybe a little bit wider here, but that's okay. We're not looking for perfection. We're just looking to have it about the same size. All right, guys, so our ribs are ready. These are Louisiana style ribs, and it's time for us to get the rub on them. I have some mixed right here. What I do is I do equal parts of salt and pepper, let's say half a cup of each, and then half of that of each one of these. So a quarter of a cup of smoked paprika and a quarter of a cup of dried granulated garlic. And I mix into that portions. Same portions, let's say half a cup, and then quarter of a cup of each of these. And obviously I've been using some of this. I just have it in a used container here. So what I do as I'm doing this is I actually get the open end, and from up on high, so I can have it nice and spread, I just start coming across it. Anywhere that I see that it's not well spread, I just make sure that I cover it, and I kind of press it in. I also flip it over. I'll show you how I get the sides here in a minute. I'll have to wash this, I'm contaminating it. My wife will notice. Yeah, so then same thing up here, from up high, make sure I get a nice little spread on here. And then I close that in and I open the smaller end with the little holes, and I get some on this edge here. It's important to get the edges as well, all covered in this good flavor. Again, coarse salt, coarse pepper, smoked paprika, and granulated garlic. All right, everybody, so here's the next stage of smoking ribs. They've been on the Traeger for 3 hours. I do the 3-2-1 method, 3 hours smoking. 2 hours, we're gonna wrap these and put them back on for 2 hours, and then 1 hour without it on. It's actually more like 30 minutes, honestly. But for the next stage, I have the butter already here. The first thing I do is I lay 3 pieces of butter on here. I get some of this brown sugar. Doesn't have to be a lot, but it's up to your taste. What do you like? So brown sugar. And then the next stage is honey. the contrast between the savory and the honey, the sweetness, sorry, is so tasty. So a little bit of honey on there. And then, not necessary, but just a little bit of the same seasoning from before, a little bit on top of that. And then I put 2 pieces of tin foil on it. I wrapped, there we go. Here's the second one. Sometimes the bones stick out and it breaks through the tin foil, so that's why I put 2 on there. And then fold it under. Same thing on this side. And there you go. It's ready to go back on the Traeger for 2 hours. All right, everybody. So we are at the 1. 3 hours smoking, 2 hours wrapped and rendering, and now the 1 is the last hour where we're gonna finalize these. So what I like when I open these up, I already spilled the juice out of here, but I just get the juice to flow in here and I save it. We'll use that later, by the way. And now our next step is our barbecue sauce. You may have better barbecue sauce than I have, and maybe even have some homemade, but this is what we're using today. And I just spread this across here. I go this way first. I like getting the edges with it, by the way. So the way I do that is as I come across, it actually gets all the way to the edges and it covers the whole thing. Then I give it one last around to make sure we get it completely covered. Now this is ready. I have this tray over here ready. I have to be careful because it's literally falling apart if I'm not careful here. And I'll go through the rest of these and we'll get them out just like this. We're gonna get them out on the grill for an hour. I actually start checking it at about 30 minutes and making sure that it's still doing good. And then once it's done, we come back in and wrap them and we put them in a cooler. It's called a cooler, but it's not cool. We put them in a cooler to help them rest for 1 hour. All right, everybody, this is it. Take a look at this. We've been preparing them already. So what we do once we get this, I talked about the juice that comes out of it. We just pour it on there and kind of just give it one more coating. And then, well, so what we do is I'll show you a little trick really quick. As you open these up, turn them over. Move this off to the side here. Oh my goodness, they're falling apart. Woo, okay. And what I do is I turn it on the back side because you could see the ribs a lot clearer. And that way you could cut right between them and you're not guessing. From the other side, it's kind of hard to tell. So here we go. We put these in here. And then we get some of our juice that came out of there. Oh man, this is a messy mess. It's a tasty, messy mess. And we just cover them with the juice. Whatever's left over, we just pour it over and it just keeps it nice and tasty. So this is Finger looking good.